What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Twin Suns podcast. My name is Shane, and ideally, you're coming here after reading a sweet article that I wrote on RuneterraCCG.com. If you haven't yet, in the description of this video, you can find that article. But that article breaks down fully a Leona and Swain deck. It's a mid-range deck that really tries to abuse the card Moonlight Affliction, and super fun deck. That article contains matchups, mulligans, core cards, flex cards, game plan, all that sweet stuff. So I am not going to go through the entire deck here, but I will transition over just to show you the deck, and then this video will be mainly breaking down some gameplay. So I'm going to try to play 1 or 2 live games here and see how they go, and talk about the decisions in deck, the deck making choices that I've made, and hopefully they go well. But this is the deck here. Full description in the description of the video will have the article, like I said, and also the deck list if you're interested to try it. It's a mid-range deck trying to abuse stunning and the ability to make certain creatures not be able to block. So that's the whole point of the deck. So let's jump right into some gameplay. And like I said, guys, our sponsor is RuneterraCCG.com. They have a sweet website with tons of articles, so check those guys out. I write there frequently as well, so you can get some really sweet content from them. So we're going to dive right into a couple games here, talk about some of our decision making, and hopefully the deck performs pretty well. So mulligan processes, we don't really want any of this stuff. Ravenous Flock is super solid. I'm not sure if we want to keep one or not. It can be a little risky at this point since we don't have the Arachnoid Sentry or Leona. So for right now, I'm going to mulligan it. And yes, Paddlestar is just a worse Ravenous Flock in this deck, but that is okay because we normally have extra spell mana anyway. So dealing that 3 damage is super solid. So we have a really good hand now. We have a 2-drop, and then we have 3 mana that we can save on turn 3. We have Leona for the stun, followed by a Paddlestar or a Ravenous Flock to really get some high damage out there, and we can start cooking. So the whole point of this deck is just to control that mid-range, form a large board, have good board presence, stop our opponent from being able to block or even hinder their offense with stuns as well. And you can do that with stuns for defensively, or on offense, you can still use Leona's power to stun and then attack through that stun. Moonlight Affliction will make 2 units not be able to block, so you can actually get extra damage through when you do something along those lines. So we got a Cursed Keeper coming out, so we should get a free strike with a Mountain Goat. Now the Mountain Goat is in here because, hey, he's just a solid 2-drop. But also the gems are super solid on a few different cards, but they also are a really good burst way to trigger the card that we really need, which is Moonlight Affliction. So in this case here, we don't have a whole lot going for us offensively, so we're going to block here. And now we can actually play Paddlestar here to kill the Butcher if we feel like it. And since we don't really have anything else to do, might as well clear his board out. So we'll go for that. He is a Mono Shadow Isles deck, so definitely some interesting things that can happen on that side of the board. Here, we'll just play Leona. I know it's not perfect, but Ravenous Flock on a Bark Beast is not bad. That Bark Beast will inevitably get to a 3-3 anyway, so we might as well. And we do have 2 Flocks, which is nice. We do have a nice 5-drop coming up, and then we have our Leviathan, which is super important to get online for later. So I will go ahead and attack here first, see if he blocks with Maokai, which is highly doubted. If he does, then we could have Ravenous Flocked Maokai, but here we'll just Ravenous Flock the Bark Beast. Obviously, we didn't see our early Daybreak curve, so we don't have Leona ready to level or anything like that. But Raven really helps us because he's going to create another Daybreak card as well, so he'll get us pretty close to where we have to go. But we do have a Arachnoid Sentry and Ravenous Flock combination, which is pretty dang good. But for right now, I'm not 100% sure I want to play that at the moment. I think for right now, I'm just going to pass and see what he does. So in this case, if he does play something along the lines of Callista or something, and if I want to be able to kill her with the Arachnoid Sentry, I can. And I could obviously just play Raven here, but again, this attack isn't that bad. If I save mana, it's really not that bad of an option either. So we're going to see if he plays Callista to stop her from leveling up. Now, if he plays Callista, he'll have Maokai make the Sapling and Callista out. 3 ephemeral units will give him what he needs. But at this point, he has really what he needs anyway. we're just going to play Raven. Yes, we could have killed Maokai with the Arachnoid Sentry, but once we play the Arachnoid Sentry, he can still play a unit, still get the sapling out to then kill our unit here with the sapling. So we didn't really want to go for that right now. Taking 2 damage on Leona isn't that bad, especially when we have gems for heals. So we might want to kill Maokai now. But first, we will keep pushing to get Leona almost leveled, which is great. Both of our champions, we do want to get them leveled. We do have Swain already at 8, which is super nice. And we should get him fully there now with Ravenous Flock going up to 12, which is super good. So he's got a board of 3 saplings, but he is on defense. So he's going for the Leona kill. Yeah, I can't really do anything about it, so we just have to accept Leona's death here. We don't run Bastion. I used to actually have it in the list. It's definitely a flex option I didn't include in the article, so you could think about running Bastion. Don't think it's super necessary, just because we do have 3 Leviathans to search out Swain anyway. Swain's a little bit more important than Leona. We do have Swain leveled now. We'll just end the turn and let those saplings die. We have Swain leveled, so once we play Leviathan, we can get that Swain, which will be super nice. We don't want to play the Sun Guardian because it's only an offensive ability here. He is getting a lot of value out of this. I'm going to play a gem here just to get this thing back up to 5 health. Maybe I can survive a couple things. He obviously has decent sapling attack here, but we still have a pretty solid board to stop a lot of damage coming through. Yeah, so we'll go here. At this point, we have too much mana anyway, so we're going to use the Pale Cascade just to push through what we need. The mana-wise, we can save this 3 mana. Super solid card here, especially if we start losing too much health or getting into a place where it's starting to get a little bit scary. So it's nice to have this Sun Forger just so we could lifesteal back a little bit. But I still feel moderately comfortable where we're at. We have a decent board. His hand's dying out a good bit. We drew a Swain, which is super nice. So we still just want to play Leviathan on this turn. And extra Swains are great because Ravenous Flock is absolutely absurd. Really powerful card. So we can continuously use Ravenous Flocks and shuffling other Swains back in our deck, which will be more Ravenous Flocks, and it becomes a very powerful situation. So we can pretty much freely attack here. You know, if we take 2 damage, a lot of times you don't really want to attack with the Leviathan if it's going to put it down to a point where it could die. But I feel pretty comfortable with it taking 2 damage here, going to 6 health, playing against Mono Shadow Isles. The things that are going to kill it are going to be Vengeance and stuff anyway, so not super worried about it. So we are getting a Maokai back, so he is getting pretty big. So at this point, we'll just play a leveled Swain. Now, when it switches back to my turn, you know, as Swain decks work, the Leviathan's going to ping the Nexus 3 individual times, and I will stun 3 things. That will set up a nice board state where we can open attack for a lot of damage. At this point, we're just trying to stall it out. We don't really need a ton of units, but we don't want to take a ton of damage still, so we will block here. And I think I'm pretty much good at this point. You know, we could play the Sun Forger, just have another guy on board. We could use a gem, which maybe we should use a gem on that, but it's not super necessary. So Swain stuns everything here. We open attack, and, you know, unless he has a Vengeance here, we can win. He's got a Grasp, but that's not going to be enough because we're doing 9 damage and then 3 to everything with Swain. So get the win on game 1 at least. So like I said, I mean, this is typically the plan. Now, what could happen is if, you know, we leveled Swain here with Battlestar and 2 Ravenous Flock. Now, if we don't see all that, it's hard to level Swain at times. We would have to level him off of Leviathan doing 6 damage over 2 turns, which was, you know, what happened this game. Now, something else that can happen often is we can attack a little bit earlier, go for the win when we do see Moonlight Affliction. If we don't see Moonlight Affliction, then we kind of need to play it like I just played it, where we need to just wait, get our Leviathan on board, get our leveled Swain on board, and let them do the work together, right? Let the Nexus get pinged for 3, and then let all that happen as we go. Now, if that doesn't happen well, you know, it can be a problematic situation, but it's pretty consistent with how quick you actually find these cards. You know, we're running 3 Swain, we're running 3 Leviathan, we have a little bit of draw in the deck, so you can normally find what you need. So this deck is Scouts. I think it's a decent matchup for most part. You know, they have to build their board up. This is a pretty bad hand in general, so I'm going to pitch all of it. It's still pretty bad, so we'll see what happens. but not my favorite hand. But yeah, like I said, they normally have to build their board up, right? They play Grand Plaza, they play extra units, they keep going from there, and we have the ability to then stun the units that they are playing and try to slow them down from that instinct. But like I said, our hand is really bad. Our hand is, like I said, very, very bad with no units here. So we will just have to take some damage. What we can do is Paddle Star Misfortune at least, but still not my favorite play. But we'll see if we can make it up. And this is where Paddle Star actually is moderately viable, right? I didn't have a stun in my opening hand, but I can still get a unit off the board after it attacks, which is nice. So it's not honestly the worst situation, and the card is definitely undervalued in general. I don't know if it's 100% needed as a 3-of in this deck, but it has found good use. So we took a lot of damage. We're gonna need to heal some, so we'll play the Sunforger for sure, and we'll see what he plays in response. He's at 4 mana. We have good combat tricks. We do have Hush. We do have a Pale Cascade, so we have really good combat tricks here to be able to get things back out. We can Hush if he plays the Grizzled Ranger and really stop a lot of damage going through, so that's super solid. We have another blocker here, which is good. So now we're at the point where we don't really want to play anything that is going to ruin our other offensive capabilities. So Raven's really good, but if we do play Raven, then we can only use Hush or Pale Cascade. I want to be able to use both here, or even all three if I had to really make this the most advantageous trades possible. So we are going to get attacked for a lot. He did have another one there, so that is going to put him to dead. I'm going to Pale Cascade him to keep him alive by 1, which isn't the best thing, but we still have another Pale Cascade as well. Now, I do have a stun here if I felt like it, to stun something. I don't find it super viable at the moment. He can probably pull both and then still attack through with MF. So you know what? I will go for a stun on the 2-3, I believe. So yeah, he can still attack. He can pull both these things. And, he can still do that now and get a free kill on the 7-1. But now it's a little bit more risky to attack with MF in this situation, which is what I kind of want it to happen. But the fact that we have 2 MFs to deal with right away is rough. But as far as how this game started and what our hand looked like, we could be in a lot worse position. Still not good, though. MF 100% can level, and it can hurt very badly. So we're going to save Leona for defense so we can stun whatever big thing they play. Morning Light is crazy good in this deck as well. We don't have a whole lot I want to do here, so we're just going to pass for now. Sort of expecting him to pass. He kind of has a full board anyway. That's what we got. We do have a Paddle Star. We do have a Leona stun. So we have some options now. So the Grizzle Ranger comes in at 4. We can instantly stun with Leona, which is super powerful. And Leona is actually almost leveled up as well. Also super powerful. He is just going to want to get MF leveled for sure. Okay, so he's going for the do that. So what I'm actually going to do here is I really do want to stun the 4-2, even though I have a silence for it. I'm going to silence MF so she doesn't gain any level up condition this turn. And that's kind of a weird play, but I don't want her to level up here. And he can, even if I stun this Grizzled Ranger, he still has a scout here, so he can still get level up condition. I don't want her leveling up right now. That would be a very powerful turn for him. Don't want that to happen. This really shuts down his offensive power pretty hard and feels pretty good on my end. So he still has that. He still has a 4-3 now attacking. He's got a unit coming through. He has the scout attack. Yeah, and we can just let that die. We'll get a gem. But again, like I said, mainly I just don't want MF leveling at this point. It's way too powerful of a turn for him if it does happen. Now we do have the option to Pale Cascade, but I do think I want the mana here. Well, if this is the instant, I don't mind taking some damage here, because what I'm going to do is Morning Light on my turn to get the additional things going. And I think that's totally acceptable here. Taking very little damage, I'm going to get good stuns on his board. Now, the question is, do I want to Pale Cascade here to save my unit, to have 3 units, and then play a Morning Light? And I think I do. So that's a tricky situation. I'm not 100% sure if it's needed or not, but I'm going to go for that to save my unit, because Morning Light's going to be really powerful here. And we did have a gem we could have played, but I'm not going to. So we can stun this board here with Morning Light. So Morning Light will do this, and then put +2/+2 everywhere, level him up, and we get a surrender. So apparently his hand was not that good. But yeah, we're going to play Morning Light there. Our board's going to get large. Everything's going to get +2/+2. We're going to level Leona on that, create a random card with Raven, and get 2 stuns because she levels on top of that. So we're going to get, or it might just be 1 stun at that point because she hasn't leveled yet, but still at least 1 stun. It's going to trigger that. We're going to stun MF. He's going to have the Badger Bear to block. We're going to have a pretty large board, and we can still play another card after that as well. So, felt pretty solid. You saw our hand was really bad. Paddlestar actually was super clutch there, killing MF first, and then the Hush really slowed down MF's ability to level. If MF levels there, we're probably going to lose that game. So I think that was 100% a needed play. And that was a good comeback. I mean, the healing from Sunforger was really solid there. So now we have a, looks like a Kinku Elusives, what it's going to look like. You know, a Freljord Ionia Elusives deck. We definitely want to keep Leona. He's attacking on odds, which is strong for him. We could keep the Sunforger as well in this case, actually, because we will get health back on 4, which might be a needed situation. So we're going to keep both of those. Normally I don't keep the Solari Sunforger, but we'll try it. And we did draw an Arachnoid Sentry, which is super good. And unfortunately draw another Sunforger, but it is what it is. So we do have a lot of Hushes. We have 2 Hushes, 2 Moonlight Affliction, which are great for stunning. Or I'm sorry, for silencing, which is great against elusive decks. Haven't played a whole lot of elusive decks lately, but it is what it is. And, you know, sometimes you're going to run into elusive things. Get a free strike off of the Mountain Goat. So ideally here we just see a Zed get played, and then I can Arachnoid Sentry. Now ideally we had a Ravenous Flock here, so we could have just killed Zed as soon as this happened. Would have been in a really, really, really strong position. Really would have put him super far behind. But even though we didn't do that, this is still pretty solid as far as turn 3s go. I feel, you know, moderately good going into this. I'm going to end up playing a Solari Sunforger here. I only lost 3 health so far, but I do have 2 of them, and I don't want to waste Leona's stun right now. Defensively, because it would just stun Zed, and if he blocks with Zed, I'm pretty okay with it. But he did play Concussive Palm, which will stun our unit here, which is solid. We'll attack anyway, because he can block with that for free, but the other 3, he doesn't really have a good blocking target. Now, if he does an open attack, we have another stun that we're going to get through. And we still have another heal, so we're feeling okay. Just depends how much damage he actually does pump through. And he is going for the open attack. We will just block 3 for now. Or block the 4, I mean. So we're going to take 6, which does hurt, but we'll see how it ends up going. Play the Raven. Have a decent board. Eclipse Dragon doesn't do a whole lot for us. I mean, he's still a solid body, but he's one of the worst cards to pull in this deck. I mean, normally he's one of the best. You normally just want to Nightfall him for hand value in this deck, if you can. So we do have a Paddlestar, but we really do need to get the Lifesteal off at some point. So I'm going to hope that he doesn't have another Concussive Palm, because 5 Lifesteal is going to be very important here. So he's passing, so I don't know what's going to come, what kind of combat tricks I have waiting for me on this attack. Gotta wait and see. We got 2 combat tricks. Another Concussive Palm, so he stops the healing, which is super, super strong. And he gets off a Recall, which is also very strong. So no healing, and I get Recall. Definitely hurts. We at least can have 3 blockers out. Obviously, this doesn't Daybreak now, but we do need our blockers because we are low on health. And we are looking in a not great position. He stopped 10 healing. Well, it only would have been 3. So he stopped 8 healing, which is super strong. 2 concussive palms. Very good defensive capabilities. Now he's playing this. Definitely could be an error. I get to Leona and stun something. Even if he buffs something else, it's still a stun, which is super nice. And we're going to need these stuns now because we have a lot of damage coming through. And we also don't have any silences yet, which is really unfortunate. So he plays that as well. I'm going to have to stun this on top of it. I really need to slow the damage down. He might even have more elusive damage coming through. So if I stun this as well, I have at least 4 elusive damage coming through, possibly a buff in his hand as well. But that's a lot better than what we were looking at a second ago. So just 4 damage is something I'm going to have to take and just have to be okay with. Now, I could have saved for paddle starting that, but I don't think that was feasible. So we have 10 mana total. If we get a Morning Light off of this, that's massive. We did not, but we still want to play Raven anyway because we don't really have any other good options. A Hush is super powerful for our defense turn. We can ideally do something with that. We're going to, if we got a Morning Light, that would have been ideal, but we're going to push through a lot of damage here. We're going to at least attempt to. We've got to try to get him to force block with some of these units, and then we can hopefully push enough damage through. So we are threatening a kill here. He is blocking max damage. Now he is not. But we're getting an elusive unit off the board right now with this, so that's good. That's the whole point. I guess elusive decks, you need to put enough pressure through to do that. So he's going for the save that elusive unit to live through damage, which I'm going to have to try to kill. So I could do the +2 damage somewhere else to get more Nexus damage through, but I really need to hurt his elusive units here because we only have 1 Hush. And on top of that, I want to play I want to draw as many cards as I can because the more I draw, the more chances I have at Hush or other silences like Moonlight Affliction. So, I mean, it's about as good as it can get for this turn. We killed 1 elusive unit. We put him on 4. We still have a full board here. We have 1 Hush to stop something. We also have a Paddle Star to kill Zed right now, which is super solid. But now he's just going for the recall. So he's just recalling everything. So we could not Paddle Star now. So we're just going to have to pass that. He does have a Navori, so he's going to have 6 total damage. He's going to need to buff something as he attacks to threaten, and then I still have a Hush to stop it. So feeling okay, and if he doesn't play anything, then we can do that. So he's going for the buff. Like I said, he has to buff something here. If he has another Fury of the North, I am going to lose this game. So we'll silence that, and we'll put a 5/3 in front of it just in case he buffs it so we can try to get the kill. If he has another +3 attack, I'm going to lose the game. And that's just kind of how it is. We had 1 Hush, but looks like that's going to be enough for now. And we can also hit a Paddle Star, but we got to surrender anyway. So we could have hit a Paddle Star there because he attacked. We could have done the 4 damage, but wasn't in the books because he had the surrender anyway. So the Hush was really good. Like I said, we run 4 silence cards. If it was a Moonlight Affliction, it's even better, right? We just silence both at the same time. So I didn't get to show off Moonlight Affliction in this video. That's unfortunate, but I'll make sure to capture a few more games and try to highlight that in a future video. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this Leona Swain deck. I think it's very unique. I think it's pretty interesting. On top of that, it has a lot of cool decision-making processes that you have to go through. A lot of cool, it's a mid-range deck, but it plays like a control deck in a lot of different ways, puts out a ton of damage, and just really makes your opponent suffer. It feels like you're in control of the game for a lot of the game. And obviously, I was playing in normals, and I was playing a few different weird matchups, but still proud of how the deck performed. Like I said, I just kind of do these videos live. I'm not going to edit just wins and things like that. Luckily, today we got 3, but this is how it's going to be. If it was 3 losses, you probably would have watched those too. So luckily, that wasn't the case. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I've been reading all your guys' comments. Super nice stuff. I mean, really, really appreciate everyone saying that, we wish we got more subs and more views and clicks and stuff. It's been incredible just to read the kind words. And, hopefully one day, that's what we're trying to make as much content as we can. Thank you guys for 300 subscribers as well. Crazy. We've only been doing this for 2 months on YouTube, so I appreciate it. And make sure to check out all our different content. It's all in the description below. Until next time, guys. Peace out.